Hey everybody, what's going on? Juan here, welcome back to the channel, and for this video, we're going to be traveling all the way back to winter 1998 because we have ourselves here a PlayStation Underground Jampack. Now, for those of you younger folk that do not know what this majestic item is, way back in the day, we did not have access to the internet required, so we could download the demos that are available on PSN, Xbox Live, the Nintendo Switch eShop. So what Sony did, and what many other companies did, is that they would have these demo discs that would have not just playable demos of incredible games. I mean, we're talking Spyro the Dragon, Medievil, which is getting a remake, the first Metal Gear Solid, A Bug's Life, people. You could play a demo of that. They would also have downloadable things such as memory card saves. They would have interviews, just an entire variety that is jam-packed with a lot of stuff. So I've been collecting a lot of these. So for this video, we have this one, and I'm just gonna put it on the PS3, and we're just gonna react. I want this to be a casual experience, where if you did not grow up with the PS1, this is it, folks. This is your opportunity to see what this time capsule is like. And if you did grow up playing the PS1, you're an awesome person, just like myself. But above everything, it's a friendly reminder of how much things have changed, yet a lot of these games are still really fun to play, even though, graphically speaking, they may not have held up all that much. So if you definitely want to see more stuff like this on the channel, don't be afraid to go to the comment section and let me know. But this is going to be a reaction video because I want to make sure we can get through most of the demos available in this jam pack. So I'm going to play through each one. You're going to see the gameplay footage for those games, and then I'm going to summarize my thoughts about each game in the video. But not only that, I'm also going to be looking at the previews and everything else inside the jam pack so we can just enjoy this experience. First we see some skeletons, but up ahead, folks, that's it. And I always wanted to subscribe to PlayStation Underground because even though this one's broken here, but you can see that you could pay $29.95 for 4 2-disc issues a year. And that would be like this taken to the next level. Oh my goodness. Things are happening, folks. Oh boy. Everything for the... Yeah, they really... I made the Indiana Jones comment. I haven't seen this, by the way. This is my first time putting in the disc.
You too can subscribe. 4 times a year, you get 2 CDs packed to the hilt with game demos, video interviews, event footage, downloads, and more. All this for only $29.95 a year. In the meantime, check out this issue of the Underground Jampack and see what you've been missing.
Oh wait, now it's like a video or something? Or okay, here we go. Now this is the Jampack. But yeah, the one time I finally got the money to subscribe, I read somewhere that this concluded because I was like all the way to the PS2. So this is the menu, folks. So here we have debriefing with the Spyro team. I'm assuming that's an interview. We have a download station. So as you can see, this is where you could get some memory card stuff. So we're just going to see what did they give you. And I know that with one of them, they actually messed up and it would mess up your memory card, which, well, Project Wormhole. I have no idea what that game is like. Code Archive, so I'm assuming those are cheat codes. The Vault. Now this is where I believe you get access to the demos. So first let's just look at the download station. And one of the big reasons that I love this, as I mentioned, you know, just monetarily speaking, we did not have a lot growing up. And I owe the fact that I love the PS1 thanks to these jam packs. So here we have a Tekken 3 one. I love that you can see a description and then download it. So the description, this download gives you access to all the hidden stuff in Tekken 3. No terminology, just hidden stuff. So that's not bad. For the first Gran Turismo, you can get, this download gives you access to all the tracks in simulation mode, and you also get a bunch of cars. And the thing is, I am assuming this would overwrite your previous save. So if you already had something, that'd be kind of weird. But I mean, this is DLC nowadays. This is like the unlock all for like $3 or $1 DLC. Vigilante 8, I don't own this game, and I don't think I ever played it, but this was like the competition to Twisted Metal. This download gives you access to all the hidden characters and stages. Yeah, it's a recurring theme, and I think that is it. But what I wanted to say is my first time playing games like Spyro the Dragon, I think this was the second Jampack that I actually played growing up, which is why I wanted to start it off with this one. Let's go to the code archive before we get to the demos. So this has a lot of games. Look at this: Agile Warrior, Air Combat, Alone in the Dark 2, Alien Trilogy, Armored Core, Battle Arena Toshinden. I believe that was the first PS1 game I ever played. It was in a long box, and it's a fighting game, kind of like Soul Calibur, but not good. Bust a Move 2, Bushido Blade, Casper. Wow, Casper. See, I don't own that, but that is something I would love to see down the line. Contra, Coolboarders, Crash Bandicoot. So notice here that not only is it like actual regular codes, it gives you information about each game. So nowadays this is found online, but the fact that you could pop this disc in and then you would have to write it down somewhere, because you can do this, you know, with the disc in at the same time. Destruction Derby was one of the first 5 games that I played as well. Die Hard Trilogy 2 Extreme, I have that. Street Fighter Alpha 2, oof. I actually have 3 digitally on the PSN. Tomb Raider 1 and 2, Twisted Metal 1 and 2, Wild Arms. Oh man, no wrestling game. Let's go into the vault, shall we? We're gonna go in there, just tossing ourselves. I love this. I feel like a kid again. I really do. So we have the vault and then imports. I forgot about that. They would give you access to import games like demos, obviously, but for games that would never come out in the US, which is really interesting because you can't really get your hands on it. So in this one we have Spyro the Dragon, amazing game, A Bug's Life, Medieval. I haven't played this since I owned a PS1. Tomb Raider 3, Metal Gear Solid. I mean, what can't you say about this game, right? Coolboarders 3, Small Soldiers. Who did not watch that incredible movie growing up? NFL games, we had sports games, Rallycross 2. So without further ado, let's get to showcasing these demos, starting with Spyro the Dragon. Playing the Spyro demo, I was reminded of how beautiful the original game was, because I know that we have the Spyro Reignited trilogy on the PlayStation 4, and maybe that's the most optimal way to play these games in 2019, but look at this demo and picture yourself as a little kid. Maybe this is your first platformer on the PlayStation 1, you pop the demo disc in, and this is what you see. You see a little cute purple dragon, you get to move around the open world, you get to see the fluid animations, the fact that there is voiceover. It gives you a hint of the different worlds that you're going to be able to visit, so it gives you a lot of substance in a fairly small demo. So I think that the Spyro the Dragon demo that is on this PlayStation 1 Jampack is one of the best examples of what a demo should be like. It doesn't give you the full game or a large portion up to the point that it makes you think, well, if I play this, why would I get the full version? It gives you that taste, but it gives you quite a large amount of it. So when you get the game, you're not just replaying the same things over and over, but instead, okay, we had the open world, we had the hub world, now let's actually play the full game. A Bug's Life is a video game based on a movie, so right off the bat, you gotta make sure you have your expectations in check, because I know a thing or two about bad movie video games. I had to talk about The Fifth Element in a video that's available right here, but not only do I remember playing the demo to A Bug's Life growing up, I believe I actually rented the full game, because this is a very simple demo, in contrast to Spyro the Dragon that gives you a lot of substance and there is a lot to expect. A Bug's Life is not that different from Spyro, but it is instead a more stripped down version of it. So this is meant for the kids, there's not a lot of challenge. You can beat the stage in the demo in about a minute, but it does give you the opportunity to look around, look at the animations, look at the art style, which is once again not that different from the games of this time. But considering the other terrible movie video game tie-ins that we've had on the PlayStation 1, the Nintendo 64, I think A Bug's Life does a pretty decent job, all things considered. If the Spyro demo reminded me of how much I love that game, the Tomb Raider 3 demo reminded me of how much I hate this game, because it is so clunky with the tank controls. It starts you off in this cell and you have no context of why you're there. So naturally, you know that you have to escape. It actually took me a little while to realize, okay, so the jumping is so bad, what do? You eventually alert a guard, who is the worst guard ever because he is so darn slow. He doesn't even try to attempt to really stop you. You can tell he's being paid minimum wage or something. He hates his job, so he's kinda trying to catch you. But I eventually got some guns and then he was gone, and then he was in a corner. But by that point I realized, you know what, I don't want to play this. There are some games that are objectively bad, like The Fifth Element, which I mentioned I talked about previously, but even that had some entertaining aspects to it, while this one, because it's a demo, because it's so narrow, because of the way that it starts, I just wanted to turn it off and maybe play one of the newer Tomb Raider games. I'm not saying that I don't like the original ones, but I definitely don't like this. You gotta love the contrast in games, because we've talked about Spyro, we have A Bug's Life, Tomb Raider 3, but then we have Metal Gear Solid. I eventually gotta do a full-form video about this game, or my thoughts about the Metal Gear franchise, because I feel like the demo, or even just a portion of this video, does not do this game justice, because it still holds up today. I know we have the Twin Snakes on the GameCube, which is a little different, but if you want a prettier experience, that is an option. The demo to Metal Gear Solid gives you access to the initial portions of the game, all the way from the cutscenes to the Konami logo, to when the elevator drops down, eventually you see the Metal Gear Solid logo. It gives you everything to let you know this game is very different. Whereas every other video game is, wait for it, a video game, this is a video game and a movie rolled into one, and it just works so damn well because you gotta talk about the voice acting, the presentation, the cutscenes, the stealth action, the fact that if you're caught, you actually gotta go around and try to figure out ways to hide. The demo does have most things from the final version, including all the conversations with the people through the codec, so you get to see the characters, you get to interact with them. So when you're done playing this, if this does not make you want to get the full game, I don't know what will. Also, my favorite thing had to be getting inside the box, getting caught, and then just going around and around like a stealth professional, trying to see if I could eventually just have the guy go, hey, you know what? I'm getting a little bit tired. The cardio game is not that strong. And it almost worked. It almost worked until I died. But I would love to know, what do you think about the Metal Gear Solid franchise? Or in particular, what do you think about Metal Gear Solid 1? Because I know people always talk about the facial animation, the fact that there pretty much is none, and that when compared to the other games, this one is undoubtedly the ugliest one of the bunch, but it is still an incredible game. Snake! Snake! So, I wish I could talk about how much I played and loved the Medieval demo, but this screen right here lets you know that that was not possible, and that's because either this has a glitched demo or something. I looked up videos on YouTube, I looked up everything, and for whatever reason, I was able to get to the initial part where you get the shield, you get the weapons, you get the daggers, but then when it's time to get to the first stage where you actually play the game, it would just stay here. I restarted the Jampack and restarted it. Looked up videos not just of Medieval, but specifically the demos. It would not surprise me that some demos were a little bit damaged, maybe they were glitched or something, but all I know is that I want to play some Medieval. I don't have a physical copy of the PS1 game, so I gotta get it eventually because I would love to play it before the remake, remaster thingy comes out, because I know that so many people love this game and I want to play it again. When we talk about toys and movies in the 90s, everybody has to talk about Toy Story because it's great. However, in 1998, we got a little movie by the name of Small Soldiers to capitalize on this toys to movies to video game adaptations tie-in, because if the movie's so great, the kids are gonna want to buy the toys, which means they're gonna want to buy the game. So logically, they included that in this demo. And surprisingly enough, it is actually not horrible. I know we just talked about A Bug's Life and other terrible movie video game tie-ins. This one is a third-person shooter that actually has an over-the-shoulder camera angle. You can play as the Gorgonites, which I love to say the name Gorgonites. It's a little bit on the difficult side because I felt like the soldiers were just bullet sponges. I don't know if they have some kind of armor or something, but you do have different weapons, you have different abilities, you can set traps and have them explode, you have a rocket launcher type thing, and the fact that you can actually aim is a big deal because a lot of these games would just have auto aim, and you do have that option if you just use the traditional way to shoot the enemies, but the fact that you can get a little bit more specific with that is actually a nice touch. So if you've played the full version of this game, I would love to know, what do you think about it? As well as, did you watch Small Soldiers? Because I feel like nobody talks about that movie, which reminds me, I actually don't remember the last time that I saw it. I feel like with the PlayStation 1, everybody at some point had some kind of extreme sports game, whether it be Coolboarders, 2 Extreme, 3 Extreme, Jet Moto, and these demos would always showcase those games, so if you had the second one, you saw exactly why you did not need to buy the new one, because for me, I feel like all of them were pretty much the same game, just with a couple of tweaks. And playing the demo to Coolboarders 3, I was reminded that this is a game of its time. By that I mean that at that time, maybe that was cool. Maybe that was neat. Maybe looking at this gameplay, this very exciting gameplay, you were like, man, this was it. But then once you see the mechanics, the stiff mechanics, the fact that you don't just have to press X to jump, you actually gotta hold it, you gotta time it to make sure that just as you go off the ramp, you get the biggest air time so then you can nail the sweet, rad, gnarly tricks, because we're talking about 90s, so I just wanted to fit in gnarly in. It's not horrible by any means, but let's be real. This is not something worth playing in 2019, but if you got yourself a demo like this one nowadays, you get to play Metal Gear Solid, you get to play Spyro, but then you get this, and then you just can't help but play the next game. Now, I'm not going to talk about NFL Game Day 99 or the NHL game because honestly, I have no idea about those sports, so I would have no context or clue if those games are actually any good or not. But I do want to talk about Rallycross 2 because I'm not a big fan of simulation-based racers, although I did dabble a little bit into Gran Turismo 2, Gran Turismo 3 on the PlayStation 2, but I was a big fan of Ridge Racer and the arcade-style racing games like Cruising the World in the arcade. So playing Rallycross 2, I had a little bit of fun. It's not the greatest game of all time, it's not something that you have to go back to and play, but let's be real, I don't think either you or me had ever heard about Rallycross 2, let alone Rallycross 1. But it's an actually decent racer. I thought that the animations and the graphics, all things considered, are passable. I am playing all of this on a PlayStation 3. Bear that in mind, but there's no optimization, there's no enhancements. It is just straight up a PS1 game with smoothing turned off. So you're seeing it pretty much the same way you would be seeing it on a normal PlayStation 1. The one thing that I did find annoying is the sound effects, because I thought that everything seemed very low quality, very annoying. Even when it first loads up, you hear the cars, and it's just like this loud screeching noise, and it feels like when you're racing, they just recorded sound effects of a car that was not moving, and then they just put that into the full game. Also, please don't look at the fact that I was 4th place throughout the entire thing. I'm not good at these games, okay? The last playable game in this Jampack disc is Arira Bow, because sometimes they would actually include imported games, which meant that these were games that were developed and published for Japan. Many times we would never see these games make their way over here, right? But they allowed you the opportunity to play a demo, a quick portion of it, even if it was not translated. So, as you can see, it's not exactly easy to navigate the menus, but once you get to the game, you find out that it is one of those modern mobile games nowadays where you can't touch the corners. Actually, that's not even modern. I remember early 2000s, people would be doing these videos like on Newgrounds and everything else that at the end of these dungeons, they would have a demon or something come up. So here it is. Apparently these games are fairly popular in Japan. Nothing else that I can really say about it. So here it is. So as I close off the video, I thought that I would be having this running in the background, the Crash Bandicoot Warped behind the scenes. The PlayStation 1 is by far one of my favorite consoles of all time. Even though I think objectively, as time has gone by, I've become more in love with the PlayStation 2 because it brought up a lot of the things that I am so glad I am playing this right now as I'm talking. The PlayStation 2 is incredible, but the PlayStation 1 gave you this.
This game, she's going to be riding on a tiger. She's a playable character.
We have a dog
Here
camera.
We have Tiny the Tiger, who was one of the
This is where I say like you can subscribe and notifications and stuff like that.
against Tiny in the Coliseum.
I have social media. That's an option too. It's pretty cool.
Hey Mark, what's going on?
If they actually had a... that cannot be an actual dog. The sheer fact that I am asking if that was an actual dog cam. I actually love this though, because rather than just showcase interviews, oh man, I would love to have one of those classic Sony, the box TVs for retro gaming. I know a lot of people look for those things on Craigslist. this is how we end the video. I could talk right now, but just look at this. Look at how amazing this is. But yeah, let me know if you would like me to cover and showcase more PlayStation Underground Jampacks, whether it be for the PS1 and the PS2. It's just a time capsule, and I know that as the editions, you know, became deeper and the years went by, they poured a lot more love and content and even hidden stuff throughout each one. So up until next time, thank you for watching and supporting, and never forget that this video has concluded, but the epic journey definitely continues. So thank you for watching, gang. Take care. Is there a dog in this one? No dog. I'm sad now.